within the second degree of consanguinity. There's still a lot of issues going for, and there's two things going on right now with this trial, and so very difficult issue. All right, Stacy, you had a question?
Yes, I did. I want to say there is no issues with bonding between Preston and anybody on the paternal side. That's where the issue stems from. Alyssa is jealous of the relationships that we have. Also, you said an unreasonable reason why she doesn't want us to have visits. I think she made that very clear, and I want to say the February hearing when she said that her issues predate with Marianne back to 2013, something that has nothing to do with this case. So that's where the whole basis comes from. Again, Preston and everybody on my family, we have a very strong bond with him, and there should be no reason that visitation is stopped.
No attachment, no bonding issues.
No. With the when he spoke with Bob, he's always asked for me, asked for, he wants to come see me all the time. There's no issues with that.
So you want to... thing I thought of is, I know you requested a change of therapist. I don't find that they're biased or they're acting unethical in any way in terms of doing their job, and that is to help Preston along. However, so your motion for, and I wrote it in there, for a different therapist is denied, but you say there are no attachment, no bonding issues. If you feel that there are no attachment, no bonding issues, then I won't need to order then that if you wanted to have your own attachment therapy type therapist, then you can certainly raise the question with the court, but the question is not before me then today. You're saying there's no attachment, no bonding issues. So if you wanted some therapy sessions for you and Preston and anybody on the paternal side of the family, I would, that's not for me to decide that today. So I wanted to make sure that's not an issue with you. Correct. Now, unless you had a question with that, Stacy, so if you are going to request, well, can we have Preston meet with us to have our own, telehealth therapy visits, or at least have him checked out if he needs, therapy, but you're putting therapy on top of therapy, so a lot on the kid's plate, obviously, and when he's there with you on the weekend visitation, you're there to plan fun activities and, lots of family activities with him. And it's going on hearing it from both sides. Again, beg the question. If you just got your visitation back, why would someone do something and get their, have the finger pointed at them to say, you're accusing me now, and I just got my visitation back. I mean, I probably do everything in my power not to try and get accused. And then the suspicion level goes up at the expense of your having visitation and contact. And then your, I wouldn't say lack of trust or mistrust, but your perception of mom having direct access and Preston having direct access with Hope Counseling, and that Hope Counseling is only providing the therapy on the mother's side of the family, and, you're off to the side there. That's the perception, okay? And how much therapy can this child have? Preston's getting his individual therapy. He completed the trauma therapy. He had a little, I won't say little, but he had a traumatic response. I cannot verify the severity, and that might be something I could have maybe explored more, but to me, it might have made a difference, the severity of it was a little traumatic response, a little hiccup, or was it like, oh my gosh, I mean, he was just absolutely not himself. Either way, trauma is trauma, and trauma can exert itself and either manifest itself in physical symptoms or conditions, and it may have short-term and it may have potential long-term effects, permanent effects, considering what Preston has gone through. I mean, it could lead to, into his adulthood. But let's just say, so severity of the traumatic response is not relevant to the court other than trauma is trauma. That's what it is. If you had a trauma, then trauma is considered kind of harm to the child. And you saw me talking to Ms. Hartman and saying, look, I'm not putting you in any position to point fingers. We're just saying, did Preston have a traumatic event during the telehealth visit? And she display a traumatic response, and she answered in the affirmative. That visit was August 21. And when you had questioned her, you had to visit August 7th, why would it show up either a week or 2 weeks later? And her response was, in her training, trauma can show up a week or 2 later. And, I have to kind of give that some type of consideration. I think that's not a incredible type of response based on her therapeutic training, but it's not about the finger pointing, it's why did we exhibit the traumatic response. Let me tell you, I'm not censuring Mom or anything and her attorneys for filing that motion, but they took action for whatever reason, and they said they took it for Preston's safety. Now the other side is going to come back and say, well, since you suspended our visits, you had more time to work on Preston and work on time to build the case. And I get that as well. I get that, and 20 years on the bench, I see things more in terms of how each of you are perceiving the case, and it's tough. Like I said, Mr. Cercio with the nail on the head, no pun intended. But he's actually, I'm so sorry. These are very, he accurately portrayed it, that it is going down to a credibility issue. And really, what's going on? Why are people acting this way? Why is Mom acting? Why is Aunt Stacy? And why are they saying and pointing fingers at each other? And, ultimately Preston is the person caught in the middle. The person's caught in the middle. And, the court's goal, obviously, is to ideally see peace, peace for this child, no more family feuds, allowing him to have a relationship with both sides of the family. But how he reacts with this trauma or resurfacing of trauma, will a court, your final judge's decision, solve the family problems? May or may not, but I don't think, I don't think we can ever predict with a crystal ball what Preston's, childhood is going to be going forward in the future because of the trauma of the loss of his father, not any fault, not any of Preston's fault, obviously, and the new, primary custodial situation he has with the mom and their attachment therapy, sessions going forward. So it's pulling on both sides. And do I just hang my hat on Bob Cercio? Do I hang my hat on Hannah Hartman? Do I hang my hat on Yvette Howard? Okay, you can't. I think we have to take the totality of the circumstances in there. And so, what I think the court has to do is some type of balancing. Just like, we don't have a model due to one, but I think it's a great model that, we're not a therapeutic court, but we never obviously want to create any more harm for a child, and we want to make it in a safe environment, but also dealing with a lot of the he said, she said. That's the tough part of doing this job, dealing a lot of the he said, she said, or the she said, he said, and that's where our role comes into play. And what we do is we closely monitor that. And so, now, before I forget, Aunt Stacy, if you want your own expert, rebuttal expert, to absolutely review from start to finish the child's medical records, the course and progress of the therapy, and basically either somebody with a PhD level, some type of evaluator.
Your Honor, Dr. Holland has been retained.
By whom?
By Ms. Cantor.
Right. That's what I thought. She was always lurking, that name was lurking in the background, but is she still officially retained? Stacy? Because she would be the person to, I guess, comment on, based on her expertise and as an expert witness, to comment on the course of the therapy. The course of the therapy.
So she's asking for another $5,000 retainer. So that's kind of where we stand at this point. I've already put in thousands and thousands down. I don't know if I'm going to be, I don't know. I had asked for Alyssa to contribute because she is telling more lies and sending them on wild goose chases. So I know it was, what was it called? Non-biased or something like that? So then she can
Neutral evaluator. I can't recall when Miss Barnes was on the case if she was appointed as a court-appointed neutral or she was going to be basically hired by Miss Barnes' side. They wanted her to review all the records.
Court-appointed. She was not court-appointed. What had happened, I think they did this in the prior hearing, was that they did not disclose any experts. So when there was a list of trial, they said it's not fair that we have to get Crystal Whipple and a detective. And so we stipulated, we didn't have to, but we did, and said Dr. Holland can be your expert witness, and that they would pay all the costs because Alyssa agreed to, and she did not have the money to pay.
I think that's accurate. So you stipulated with Carol Barnes that she could testify as an expert.
Right. Your Honor.
Dr. Holland can testify. There will be an expert for Aunt Stacy on this case.
And Your Honor, this is Carrie Hurdick. Important to know that, we didn't have to do that. They were past their time. We were in trial. But we did that because we want what's for the best interest of the child. Mother agreed to that.
Absolutely.
Right, you noted that. It's done. We did that at a prior hearing. Okay. So that was one of the things I wanted to address with the change of therapists or concerns about the Hope Counseling people. I'm going to deny that, and Stacy said, well, we don't need therapy as far as bonding. We're bonded with Preston, and so he will continue with Miss Hartman. Whipple it appears out by now, unless trauma resurfaces. And in terms of the visitation, let me write this down. I will order some type of kind of a hybrid order. I won't do full weekends, but I will monitor closely, how the visitations are going. We are going to stay with every other weekend, but we will reduce it to, I can give you a preference Saturday or Sunday with no overnights, and I'm not going to supervise it based on competing things I've heard from the GAL and from Ms. Hartman and from CPS.
We would prefer Saturdays, not Sundays, because Preston goes to church with Mom on Sundays and he goes to Sunday school.
Stacey, are you available every other Saturday? I presume you are, because you're going to be available. You were presumably available for those every other weekends. We were just going to go to day visits. I'm not going to supervise it. if I shorten the time, I think I will be kind of right now addressing any concerns that Ms. Hartman might have, but I'm not going to. I'm overriding her concern for doing her request for supervised visitation, but I think 8 hours, 10 hours, a day visit only, no overnights. We'll continue to closely monitor the situation on that. And I think all I can tell both sides of the family here is be mindful of what you say to the child, obviously. So, out of fear of getting accused or fingers pointed at each other. So this is, it's kind of happening again, but I would thought that with the resumption of the visits, like I said, it begs the question. Why would Stacy want to do that, or why would Mom want to suspend the visits and do that? Because then it created more suspicion for Stacy. Okay, now you suspended my visits. Are you working on Preston now? And that didn't give me any opportunity to have 1 or 2 or 3 visits and see how the visits were going to be going. After one visit, it just stopped again. So I'm going to resume them for this Saturday, and it's going to be every other. We're going to go here with every other weekend, but we will just Saturday's day visits only. We could start it this Saturday. And what will date would that be? That's September 12th? Okay, did you, and I don't know this thing about exchanging with Dr. Deepa. Is that something you guys agreed to rather than coming to the family court?
They have a new PO, like Yesenia does. I can see if she can do the pick up and drop off.
I think that's something.
Whole counseling has reserved a new PO, like Yesenia and Katie. If she can do the pickups and the drop-offs, that way if anything is said, he couldn't possibly set it for me.
I'm okay with that, but Rihanna, again, she has him, 24/7, all hours a day, and the reason, and we did agree to drop off at Dr. Deepa. However, she interfered with the direct, he was supposed to go directly to Dr. Deepa. She came, gave him a hug, whispered in his ear, don't forget what I told you. So even though I'm going to have him for that full day, the brainwashing has already been going on for the entire week, I'm only seeing him. So, I'm at a huge disadvantage because yeah.
I'm sorry, she's just saying that, we don't know, she's just saying that her side,
I'm objecting to that, and we can keep it that way if it's convenient for both sides of the family. If not, I put my foot down and say we have to Donna's house. We'd have to do Donna's house supervised exchanges where you'd never see each other. What you do is you drop Preston off 15 minutes earlier, and on the scheduled time, you have to be there punctual and pick up. Like if it's a 6 p.m. or 9 a.m. pickup, you drop off 8:45 and then you leave. And then 9 a.m. they come pick up. And when it's return time at 6 p.m., the returning party has to return by 5:45, and then the other party arrives at 6 while the other party has already taken off from the parking lot. So that's
I was saying I'm okay with the in-home or the in-state counselor doing exchanges, but I'm saying she's making for the reason that if nothing will come from her. I'm just saying it's only going to be 8 or 9 hours. So
maybe it'll come out at trial. I don't know, but people should be refraining from. People should be acting appropriately on both sides of the family with the child. So home counseling will be used to facilitate child exchanges. So it's every other Saturday.
if they can. I'm sorry, we don't know if home counseling can do it. Can we do Donna's house?
So this is Dr. Cercia speaking. Yeah, I might interject. May I suggest a neutral McDonald's in the middle with a play line attached to it with a 20-minute window, and as parties show up, they can buy a coffee or a soda that'll show the timestamp. If there's any incidences, a security tape can be obtained from McDonald's, and that's the least expensive way because neither side's made out of money.
I can waive mom's fees at Donna's house, and actually I can waive Aunt Stacy's fees since they're paying for Dr. Holland if they want to continue.
Well, I don't want to do visits at Donna's house, and Alyssa just offered the...
Exchanges. You're just picking up and dropping off. They charge $5 a pop for that. So if you're dropping off, cost you $5 to pick up and $5 to drop off, and it'll cost Alyssa the $10 the same way. But I can waive those fees since everybody's not have a lot of money left over. But I can waive the $10 fees for each of you. So it's technically $10 to drop off and pick up. But I can waive it. It won't cost either one of you. So if Hope is not, I'm writing this, if Hope is not available, Donna's house supervised exchanges, not visitation, exchanges. Basically, you would pick up the child at the Family Mediation Center. And all fees waived for both sides. Okay? So JDA shall submit the Donna's house referral order, and like I said, work it out with Hope. If Hope doesn't work with Yesenia or Katie, then you go through Donna's house. But we cannot hold anything up in terms of the Saturday visits. So she'll submit it via email. All right. Now, Preston to continue with therapy with Hannah Hartman / Hope Counseling, because I don't know if there's trauma involved in, I don't know if they'll bring Crystal back, but hopefully we won't have to. And we'll monitor the situation. Okay, I had written up there also I would get updated CPS records, so you wanted to compare notes, or you haven't gotten additional CPS records, you can come review them. Now, one thing I can do to make it easy is if you're going to use those exhibits as a sealed exhibit, Ms. Lair and Ms. Hurdick, or the court can also do it as their own exhibit, updated CPS records. They're eventually becoming a trial exhibit, so really doesn't, if Stacy were to get a copy email via PDF, she's going to end up getting it in a trial exhibit notebook anyway. So do you object to having Stacy sign a confidentiality order and then we would, I don't know, submit it as a potential exhibit? These new updated CPS records. Apparently she's got the old CPS records in her possession. Mother's Counsel?
We don't have a problem with that, Your Honor. She signed the confidentiality.
Alright, so, and Stacy to sign court's confidentiality agreement order, and then she will receive the CPS records via PDF. So will be sent to, did you get it, Mr. Socio?
I'm sorry, say that again, Your Honor?
We'll give you the updated CPS records, whatever we have to date.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So everybody will get it 3 ways, and we're probably going to track it in again 2, 3, 4 weeks and see if there's any updated records, etc. Now, this is supposed to hold you over until trial, and all holidays, we discussed this before, I think all holidays, I'm looking at my calendar, all holidays belong to mom, so I do, if Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday, so it won't impact under Saturdays, but the December 25th is a Friday, so that's not going to impact Christmas, mom's Christmas or Thanksgiving, and no other major holidays in between or a child's birthday. Is that correct? These every other Saturdays, 2 Saturdays a month. I would say 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., either at Donna's house or through Hope Counseling. I don't know how fast you can get a answer from Hope Counseling, but I'll have mom's attorneys coordinate with Aunt Stacy if that's feasible. If not, we've got to start it already for this Saturday. Now, it may take a while to sign up orientation with Donna's house, but I'm not going to have it hold up this Saturday's visit, so exchange at the family court security gate like we did last time with authorization to record in your pocket, your dash cam from your car, audio or video record. Okay? Apparently you guys did that before, and I didn't hear anything about that. There were no issues, so it's a safe place to do that. I like Mr. Cercio's recommendation about McDonald's, but this is the type of situation where they do not absolutely trust each other, and we want to make it kind of airtight on that. So we do the McDonald's things because kids like that, but there's not a lot of trust on both sides. So maybe at one point later in the future we might get there, Mr. Cercio, but I thank you for that suggestion. But family court, we've got security everywhere, and we have security personnel 24/7. So it is a 9-hour visit. Did I write that there? 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Can I ask for 7 tonight at night? I mean, if I return home at 6 p.m., that doesn't even give us a chance to have dinner together.
The sun goes down at 6:57 now, but it's going to get darker as we get into winter. It's going to be 5 p.m. and but either way, it gets dark at around 5 o'clock in the dead of winter, and you guys won't be in until April, and these days are going to get shorter and shorter. And Saturday is not a school night, so it's plausible. Does Mom have any objection? 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.? It's they're being reduced as it is. Is the extra hour going to be
I wanted 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Now, Your Honor, 7 a.m. she can't do. 9 she can do. 9 to 7 I'm good with.
Okay, 9 to 7.
In a whole day, continuing overtime,
Well, I know, Aunt Stacy, you're an early bird, but a typical drop-off for a child is 9 a.m. And then Mom get them up, get them dressed, give them breakfast, and then they have to get that extra half hour to come into the courthouse and get there and then drop off. But it'll be prompt. It'll be punctual. 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Approved. We'll give you that extra hour. You'll be stuck dead of winter. Gets dark at 5, so I ask everybody to drive safely in the evening. Okay? All right, 9 to 7 approved, and it is every other Saturday. Okay. That's all the orders from today. Now, there are attorney's fees, obviously still on the table. I'm still going to defer that to, or defer to the trial. So what is the outcome? It's a technical request when they file an motion. Unless, did you plead it? Ms. Hurdick, Ms. Lay? If not, then I'll take it off the table. Did you actually plead it?
You didn't play that.
No, because we're doing it pro bono.
Oh, I see. Okay. Correction. No fees were asked in the emergency motion. All right. Attorney Mont's counsel shall prepare the order. You need to sign off, Mr. Cercio.
No, I do not.
Okay, but serve the GAF.
As long as I'm served with whatever's filed, I'm fine.
I'll prepare today's order. We have the court minutes done. Thank you, everyone. Another long hearing, but thank you for hanging in there. We don't have another return date. We've got you set already for April. Everybody should just try to plug along. It's the best we can do. Be appropriate with the child. Be mindful. And try to give the child the best experience as possible, not cause anything traumatic. Everybody's in hypervigilance, and if the child senses that lack of distrust between the two sides of the family, it could rub off on him. So I think if we have to, for the sake of having to, keep it calm and just do the exchanges, do a little bit of encouragement, and just continue on. There at some point, obviously, if there are no issues, I'd say no earlier than 2 months of, that would be about 4 Saturday visits before anybody should file any motion to either increase visits or decrease visits. It's probably coming, but you got me until, I would say before the end of December, but probably before Christmas time, because then the new judge will be in and we're packing up. So we're going to be closing shop on my end, and then new judge and their staff will already be in my chambers by then. So we have September and we have October. Last you can get in is probably filing a motion by mid-November to early December to be heard if there's any changes in the visits. Not encouraging anything. I think they should just try and continue with that. If they can manage with that until trial, then obviously. But when you file a motion into the new year, you're going to be heard by whichever judge is. By late December, maybe you guys will know who your actual judges. But then, the concept of peremptory challenges and new judges, that could do a little bit of a shift. But if you want to pay $450 to peremptory a judge, that's also going to come into play. You'll settle in, then you find out who your new judge will be. And that's why the trial is going to be finished in the early part of next year. There won't be enough rooms for trial to finish it here and inability to hold an in-person trial in the courtroom. That is why it's going into next year. And plus, it's going to require additional days, and we just don't have those days left with me having 3.5 months left on the bench. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Anybody have any other questions, concerns? The future court date would be the trial date. JEA to file amended order setting trial. And I'm going to tell her, exclude any discovery or PTM deadlines. Those were already passed. So we're just giving you the trial dates. Trust me, I've had attorneys, we made it standard, and I've had attorneys saying, well, you did extended discovery, and we get into those issues, but it's now there in the court minutes. It's going to go in there, exclude discovery or PTM deadlines. Okay?
So, I have a couple questions. You said I can subpoena records. I just want to make sure that's still standing.
I can't tell you how to do your case. Consult with an attorney. Anybody who discloses a witness through pair of bars, that's fair game. If there are any new witnesses because of new information, like we didn't know Yvette Howard is working on this case from CPS, so I will pretend to approve Yvette Howard if she is subpoenaed, whichever side wants to subpoena her. Bob Sergio got on in the middle of this case, in the middle of trial, and he's been very good, volunteering as a GAL, and so he will get notice, and he's expected, obviously, to testify and give a objective report back. So his name's on the table for sure. Final thing I would say, do not let any Dallas House order hang you up this Saturday. The other default order is you will show up and do it at the family court gate because you're not going to be able to get into Donna's house orientation that fast. So you have to press on with that until you can formally get into that Donna's house program. So everybody understand, show up at the family court gate until Donna's house has approved both of you. They gotta go over rules, orientation, and it's gonna be a lot nicer because you never have to see each other, and not have any confrontations, and not be able to observe anything the other side's doing, because they're gonna be dropped off 15 minutes early before pickup, okay? So we will do those exchanges and no excuses, okay? All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. And thank you, Mr. Sorcio. And it looks like the others have dropped off. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.